All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It is Sunday.
It is.
In that book there still. Today was a three-part parallel, but we're only going to read the first one today because we've got a lot of commentary to get through. Jesus predicts his death the first time. And that's going to start there in Matthew chapter 16, starting at verse 21. From then on, Jesus began to tell his disciples plainly that it was necessary for him to go to Jerusalem and that he would suffer many terrible things at the hands of the elders, the leading priests, and the teachers of the religious law. He would be killed, but on the third day he would be raised from the dead. So Peter took him aside and began to reprimand him for saying such things. Heaven forbid, Lord, he said, this will never happen to you. Jesus turned to Peter and said, Get away from me, Satan. You are a dangerous trap to me. You are seeing things merely from a human point of view, not from God's. Then Jesus said to his disciples, If any of you wants to be my follower, you must turn from your selfish ways. Take up your cross and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. And what you benefit and what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? If anything is anything worth more than your soul? For the Son of Man will come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and will judge all people according to their deeds. And I tell you the truth, some standing here right now will not die before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. And now the commentary from Matthew. The phrase "from then on" marks a turning point. In Matthew chapter 4, verse 17, it signaled Jesus' announcement of the kingdom of heaven. Here it points to his new emphasis on his death and resurrection. The disciples still didn't grasp Jesus' true purpose because of their preconceived notions about what the Messiah should be. This is the first of 3 times that Jesus predicted his death. And that we'll see others in Matthew 17:22 through 23, chapter 20, verse 18 for the others. This passage corresponds with Daniel's prophecies. The Messiah would be cut off, Daniel 9:26. There would be a period of trouble, 9:27 in Daniel. And the king would come in glory, Daniel 7:13 and 14. The disciples would endure the same suffering as their king, and like him, would be rewarded in the end. Peter, Jesus' friend and devoted follower, who had just eloquently proclaimed Jesus' true identity, sought to protect him from the suffering he prophesied. But if Jesus hadn't suffered and died, Peter would have died in his sins. Great temptations can come from those who love us and seek to protect us. Be cautious of advice from a friend who says, "Surely God doesn't want you to face this." Often our most difficult temptations come from those who are only trying to protect us from discomfort. In his wilderness temptations, Jesus heard the message that he could achieve greatness without dying, and that was found in Matthew chapter 4, verse 9. Here he heard the same message from Peter. Peter had just recognized Jesus as Messiah. Here, however, he forsook God's predictive and evaluated. Here, however, he forsook God's perspective and evaluated the situation from a human one. Satan is always trying to get us to leave God out of the picture. Jesus rebuked Peter for this attitude. When Jesus used this picture of his followers taking up their crosses to follow him, the disciples knew what he meant. Crucifixion was a common Roman method of execution, and condemned criminals had to carry their cross through the streets to the execution site. Following Jesus, therefore, meant a true commitment, the risk of death, and no turning back. See also Matthew chapter 10, verse 39. The possibility of losing their lives was very real for the disciples as well as for Jesus. Real discipleship implies real commitment, pledging our whole existence to his service. If we try to save our physical life from death, pain, or discomfort, we may risk losing eternal life. If we protect ourselves from pain, or protect ourselves from the pain God calls us to suffer, we begin to die spiritually and emotionally. Our lives turn inward, and we lose our intended purpose. When we give our life in service to Christ, however, we discover the real purpose of living. When we don't know Christ, we make choices as though there were no afterlife. In reality, this life is just an introduction to eternity. How we live this brief span determines our eternal state. What we accumulate on earth has no value in gaining eternal life. Even the highest social or civic honors cannot earn us entrance into heaven. Evaluate your lifestyle from an eternal perspective, and you will find your values and decisions changing. Jesus Christ has been given authority to judge all the earth. That's in Romans 14, verse 9 through 11, and Philippians chapter 2, verse 9 through 11. Although his judgment is already working in our lives, there is a future, final judgment when Christ returns, Matthew 25, verse 31 through 46, and everyone's life will be reviewed and evaluated. This will not be confined to unbelievers. Christians too will face judgment. Their eternal destiny is secure, but Jesus will look at how they handled gifts, opportunities, and responsibilities in order to determine their heavenly rewards. At the time of judgment, God will deliver the righteous and condemn the wicked. We should not judge others' salvation. That is God's work. Because all the disciples died before Christ's return, many believe that Jesus' words were fulfilled at the Transfiguration when Peter, James, and John saw his glory, Matthew 17, verse 1 through 3. Others say this statement refers to the resurrection, Matthew 28, Mark 16, Luke 24, and John 20, and the ascension of Jesus in Acts 1. Still others believe that Pentecost, Acts 2, the ascension in Acts, Still others believe that Pentecost, Acts 2, and the beginning of Christ's church fulfilled Jesus' words. In any case, certain disciples were eyewitnesses to the power and glory of Christ's kingdom. Yeah, a lot of people theorize that there's at least one man walking around on this earth that has not died since then. But I can see their point here. I mean, those three men saw Jesus transfigured into his glory and, go away. So,
right.
I don't know. A lot of people think that he didn't mean that, literally, that there's actually somebody walking around on the earth that's been alive since then.
There's a lot of theories that differ from other theories about the entire Bible, which is why we completely restate over and over, read it for yourself.
Yeah.
Pray and ask God's discernment on what the truth really is.
Yeah. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
Oh, God can do anything.
Yeah. I mean, Elijah was taken up without dying.
Right.
So
yeah, God is all-powerful and has the potential and power to do anything that he sees fit, and it's not for us to question or worry or wonder about. It's
yeah. So what if there
read
is?
it for yourself. Ask discernment from God on what it means.
All right. We will continue on with this 3-part parallel the next time we get together. Hope everybody has a glorious day, and we'll talk to you later.